so happy to see this because I was a reporter for 20 years. So
wow.
I encourage, we need women, and particularly covering film. So I'm really happy to see you guys.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm Evita.
What is it?
Evita.
Anita. Chloe, Anita.
I'm Malachi, and we're from the Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press, as you know.
Yes.
And today we're here with
Claudia Puig.
Hello. So you're tasked with choosing films for the festival, and it sounds like a challenging job. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It is challenging. This year we had a record number of films submitted. So we had about 5,000 films submitted. So that meant, and there's 3 of us on the programming team. There were 4, but so we had to watch hundreds and hundreds of movies. That's challenging. It sounds fun, and it is. It's a great job. I love it. But sometimes the movies aren't great, and sometimes you wish you were watching something else. So we watched lots of movies. And then you have to make the hard decisions, because we had so many. That meant that we had a lot of really good movies to choose from. So, and we could only choose 200 out of those 5,000. So, there were ones that there were 3 of us that were all on the same page. We pretty much all liked the same films, but sometimes we'd have like a discussion, like somebody would go, oh, I really love that movie. Someone else would go, I don't know. So it is challenging, but it was, and then just the logistics of it, sort of organizing the Google Doc and all that fun stuff. And then you tell the filmmakers that it's really exciting when you tell them they're in the festival, and then you have to tell the ones that didn't make it. So that's hard.
Yeah. So you mentioned you were a reporter for 20 years.
Yeah.
Did that influence how you choose films, or is it?
Yeah, it probably did. Being a reporter, I probably am pretty partial to documentaries because they're true stories. Or like reporting, documentary filmmakers are a lot like reporters. They go after a story and they find what they find, and they're telling the truth, like reporters do, facts. So yes, I think that might influence me a little bit. I also wrote about film. So when I was your age and even younger, I was always watching movies. I have 2 daughters that love movies. So I was always sort of steeped in the world of movies as well. So, yeah.
What stands out to you when looking for a movie, and when do you know when you're seeing something special?
Oh, good question. What stands out to me, it's kind of a combination of things that stand out to me. So if it's a fictional film, good acting, good directing, cinematography, the story. It all comes down to the dialogue, the screenplay. Because what I've discovered is you can have great actors, you can have great director, great cinematography, great costumes, great production design. If you don't have a good story, it's just not going to work. Right? I mean, you can look at a book, and if it's got all these wonderful things, but the story is boring, or the story is uninteresting, or the story doesn't make a lot of sense, it doesn't work. So it's the same with movies. So we're I'm always looking for a good script, and something that tracks, that makes sense, that has tension and excitement, that it pretty much keeps your interest from start to finish. So it's a lot of things I'm looking for.
Thank you.
Sure.
What advice would you give to a student filmmaker about making a compelling movie?
Oh, good question too. You guys have such good questions. So what advice would I give to a student filmmaker about making a compelling movie? I would say, again, just what we were talking about, make sure you have a good script. Make sure your writing is good. Read a lot of other scripts. Do a lot of reading. Think about dialogue and how people really talk. Sometimes you watch a movie and you think people don't really talk like that. It's like, so pay attention to nuances and dialogue and subtleties, and make sure it flows at a good pace. It's really hard, I think, when you're a filmmaker to edit your own film, so talk to other people and get their input as well as you're making the film. Watch a lot of movies. Watch movies that are great. Watch movies that really affected you and think, what was it about this movie that affected me, right? Was it, maybe it was the power of the performances, or you just always analyze, be looking at things and analyzing them.
What movie this year do you think really has an amazing script?
Oh, good question too. This year, I would say there's a couple of really good ones. Power of the Dog, which is on Netflix, and it's up for Best Picture and various other awards. Really good script, really interesting, really unusual characters. The other thing I think it's really important is character development. You know, you don't want to have, like a lot of times, particularly for women, you know, she plays the wife, she plays the daughter, she plays the mother, and it's like they don't give her any personality traits. You need to have character development. You need to get a sense of like who are these characters, what makes them interesting. And I think what's good about Power of the Dog is it has characters that are complicated because people are complicated in real life. So I'd say Power of the Dog is one that has a great script. And then Licorice Pizza. He's a really, Paul Thomas Anderson has written a lot of really good scripts. He's written another really good one because he has nailed how, you know, high school age people talk and 20-year-old people talk. And he also managed to create this era of 1973 and how things were in that. He probably did a lot of research and talked to a lot of people. So I think those two would be really good examples of a great script.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your good questions. You guys are great.
Thank you.